That's the jet lag loop.
I'm not saying stop. I'm saying whenever you play and you're grooving, you bounce like that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so cool.
Hi, welcome to That Pedal Show. I'm already talking into the wrong camera, but I'm Mark Lettieri.
Dan here.
Mick here. Hello. Let's do
Sorry,
it.
I started your show.
No.
Let's do
Wonderful.
it.
It's
It's wonderful.
Yeah. I feel bad because I feel like I stopped the party.
Well, sometimes when people do that, it's because I think it's like they're like, dude, you're redlining the recording. No. Do less of that, and I'm just like, oh, he's enjoying himself. Okay.
Whenever I watch you on YouTube or wherever, when you're in it, you have a very specific bounce.
Now, see, there's the funny thing is, first of all, I think yes, maybe I do move in a specific bouncy kind of manner. But now, anytime I watch like my friends play guitar, like I was watching Andy Timmons do a thing the other day, and he does this thing where he does one knee at a time. Do you ever watch that? I wonder if he knows that he does that. But yeah, but I do this. And everybody does things.
Andy
You have to give Andy a honk.
Oh, hey, all right. That's weird. But, all right. So now, now I'm like looking at all my friends' mannerisms when they're doing stuff,
We had Ed O'Brien on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying the positioning of your body while you're playing. He did this big study into it, and the massive difference that makes. And another friend of mine was doing these sessions, these gypsy jazz sessions, and he was doing all of Django's parts, and he studied the way that he held himself with the guitar, and he said, unless you're in that position, he said, it's not right.
It makes you play differently. It's actually funny that you brought that up because I helped a student out with a research project not too long ago where he was writing a thesis about movement, body movement, and time feel.
Right.
And so he wrote this piece for me to play, which was like a pretty hard, like angular kind of funk piece with, nothing was really on beat one, And he had me, he said I had to film myself playing it, and I had to play it perfectly still, like as still as possible to see how my time feel was, and then play it again where I was relaxed and kind of moving, and then I sent him the video, and he like analyzed which, and I think my time was better when I was kind of, I forget what the exact findings was, but it felt better when I was moving.
Yeah.
There was probably a little bit more push-pull as far as the quantization of everything, but it didn't feel as...
I can't listen to you play and not... start doing the dad dance.
I think this is one of the most epic tangents we've ever begun.
This is a show. Well, I don't know. There's no script.
We should introduce Mark. Probably is the right thing to do.
Yeah,
I think that the question on
the
main question on everyone's lips, Mark, is how the hell do you say your surname?
Oh, I want to hear you guys say it first.
Lettieri.
Yeah,
Lettieri.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes over here they say Lettieri, and I'm like, that's awesome. That sounds way more authentic.
Because that's how you spell it, right?
Yeah, Lettieri.
Good. I think it's important to get these things.
Thank you. Yeah, my dad was very thankful for this segment right now. It's like, don't change your name.
It's a particular thing in the UK anyway, and I'm sure it's the same wherever you go in the world. That the minute that there's any word that's not easy to say, but it's easy to say, right?
Well, now we've figured it out.
Yeah.
It's
so
not.
it's
It's
cool.
not. It's a slightly confusing last name.
Have you heard that guy like Mark Lettieri?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially on like dinner reservations or something. You're like, party at. Like, hi, Lettieri, thanks. Sit at the bar.
Well, that's good. I'm pleased we've got it out of the way. So for anyone who's wondering, right. If you don't know of Mark, now Mark, I first heard of you through Snarky Puppy.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Was there much before that?
No.
Good.
Well, there was. Just
It's like, there was 20 years in that band you don't know about.
Yeah, I was in Metallica since 1986. What's the matter with you? No, I was doing stuff. I did a lot of sideman work, kind of maybe prior to that, but and I still do. It's just that the snarky thing and how it's sort of. Well, a lot of people found out about us through like YouTube.
Yeah,
sure.
Strangely enough, even though we had been touring and doing stuff all before that. So, but yeah, Snarky Puppy was probably brought me to a lot of new faces, so to speak.
3 Grammys.
Correct.
with Snarky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Thanks.
I think something really interesting happening when he's talking about the YouTube thing. So there's Snarky, there's Fearless Flyers that you do, and then but there's also this sort of crossover thing with like Wolfpack, which you're the bass player from Fearless Flyers, and the other guitar player,
right?
Also in that band,
right?
Have you done research, Dan?
I just know. Well, the thing is because
it's against the rules of that pedal show to do research, right? I thought we got that.
This is research. He's researching. He's testing me to see how much I know about myself.
Thank you.
It's epic work.
And there's also Joe Peck, the bass player. Joe Dart
from
sorry.
Wolfpack.
From Wolfpack, sorry. Joe Dart
Joe
from Wolfpack.
Peck, that's awesome. Can we make that a thing for him? Like
we'll send a t-shirt out.
Yeah,
no problem.
Joe Peck.
Because I've also seen him with it's the keyboard player and the wife have a duo where they do those mashup songs, and he's played with those guys.
I actually don't
as well.
know.
Oh man,
Pieces and Lee.
Pomplamoose.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. And I've heard him. Yeah.
It's a good job Simon's here.
Yeah. Always.
The man behind the camera.
But there's this crossover between it's ultra musical, right? And there's the virtuosity going on with your thing is just off the scale, and it seems to have I don't know where this has come from. It just sort of, when there's a space of a short period of time, the scenes seem to be happening on YouTube,
right?
And you're doing these mega arrangements and mega playing, and also going back to a lot of it being funk based, which is really interesting,
right?
So where did you first start getting the funk thing? And
it's happened. I mean, it happened, I guess, for me probably like late teens, early 20s,
right?
I think. I started out learning guitar around the time when like the first wave of grunge had already happened, but all that stuff was still on the radio. So this was like the late 90s.
Okay.
And so that's how I got formidable on tablature and things like that. But and then it was just like a guitar-oriented rock. Van Halen and Joe Satriani was huge in all these bands. And then as I started finishing high school, my friends and I were always just trying to find cool new stuff, even though most of it was old.
Yeah, right.
We were digging through our parents' like vinyl collection and finding. Steely Dan, that was like the big debate. Like I was in love with Steely Dan, but like my homies were like, nah, dude, I'm not into it. But bands like Steely Dan or Parliament Funkadelic or Stevie Wonder or Prince became super huge. So it just as I got a little older, exiting high school, getting into college, my taste kind of shifted from the rock thing into the funk soul R&B thing. And now I'm sort of at this place where it's all kind of coming back together. But I think I just found that kind of guitar playing or just that kind of music was just exciting and sort of like, if it's not I guess the first thing that you find inspiring, whatever it was like this new thing. It was like rock and roll for me was something that was the first thing that was important to me, and then I felt like I had internalized it, and then it was like, oh, there's this other cool thing. I'm gonna check. This is speaking to me too. Like, how can I have all these things? And then just like the idea of really cool, fun, simple rhythm guitar was like always something that just kind of, I don't know. I think when I saw how important it was to like arrangements and making songs cool, I always gravitated towards it.
When we hear like even the loop that you set up beforehand, and you have this, I mean, the sense of time is just unbelievable. But then what you do with the way that you arrange what's going on harmonically and where you put things and your grace notes and things like that. I mean, your sense of harmony where does that come? It seems like, when we see you play live, we've seen you play a couple of times in LA and stuff.
Yeah.
And your sense of harmony is deep.
Oh, thanks, man.
And so, where has that come from?
All over the place.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I really sat down with a book and checked out, even though there's probably been some things along the way that I've picked out of certain pages of certain books that I probably can't remember exactly where they all came from. But a lot of that just came from having to learn things by ear.
Right.
Snarky Puppy, for example, doesn't use charts.
Wow.
You know, I mean, the guys in the band can read, but we don't.
So
you know, so everything's learned by ear.
If you want that statement to become even more incredible than it already was, just pull up some Snarky Puppy on YouTube and watch the guys play. There's
a lot going on.
Astonished by that. Yeah. Wow.
So Snarky gig, you just memorized everything, all the arrangements and stuff.
Yeah. 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 Thanks for reminding me. I have a whole new album I have to memorize before May 28th.
No formal study?
Well, I shouldn't say no. I had some great teachers when I was younger. I had a great teacher in high school that I studied with. A private guitar tutor like any local kid would have. Come over and so that was very instrumental in a lot of my early theory learning and proper technique kind of things. And then I took a little bit of jazz guitar as an elective at my university, where I did learn quite a bit of harmony stuff and composition as it pertains to harmony. I think that was really important with those lessons. But I don't have like a music degree from a music college.
What did you do your degree in?
Can't wait for it. Advertising and public relations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want a job?
Yeah, what do you pay?
It's not great. In fact, the new intern has started today, and we're going to
you're going to
meet them before the end of the video.
That's right. So I mean that was, and I did that because it was kind of like the family business, so to speak.
Okay.
And it was interesting to me, but deep down I was going to be a guitar player.
Awesome.
So were you running around 5 years old with a guitar, or did you start
No,
later?
I was like 12.
Yeah.
And my dad plays a little bit. He was a big Birds and Beach Boys fan back in the 60s and everything. So he would take out the guitar every now and then and strum some.
You grew up with that music?
Yeah, I did. Thank God.
Man.
There you go. You were asking where the melody and the harmony comes from.
Well, I mean, I think about it. It's like, well, I'm not. Anyway,
yeah.
Could have been.
I could have grown up with other music in the house. I'll just say that.
I feel terribly guilty for killing that loop before it truly comes to fruition. So seeing as you were talking about loops, can we talk a little bit about looping?
Yeah, fine.
Because
I'm pretty basic when it comes to it, but continue.
That was
epic.
Part of where I was going with that, because I've seen so many people use these epic loopers with many switches and all the rest of it, and then there you are sounding astounding with probably the simplest looper on the planet.
well, thanks, but I think for the way that I do loops, which is about very compartmentalized type of looping, this is really all I need. I mean, there are definitely fellas that are building entire I mean, if you ever heard Yannick Wisdala do loops, it's like an orchestra, and so that's why he's got the setup that he has, because it's just a different vibe, so for me, and I got into this one, I think I bought this at like a guitar shop, a Guitar Center or something, just because, to teach. I think maybe that was why I got it. And then it was just like, well, this is actually like really kind of fun. And then I started putting them on Instagram, because it's like, well, you got 30 seconds, you got 1 minute to do something fun and bite-sized, like a little Skittle, little Reese's Pieces. And this was like the perfect tool for that. So
for anyone who can't see it, by the way, because the pedal cam is just on the table,
it's
right. A TC Ditto, just the small one with the one button, same one that Danish Pete uses. On the
so is that the so every time we say someone's name,
if you know them,
and you're dropping someone's name, like casually in the conversation,
if they're even semi-famous.
Well, the thing we do with Snarky, if somebody is about to say, they go, watch your feet.
Yeah,
because I'm about to drop.
Exactly.
So
when we first started the show, we, because Dan builds boards for a lot of people, so and I'd done journalism for many years, so quite often a name would come in and it just got embarrassing. So we said we need to.
I
love it. Okay, that's great.
We need to mark these occasions.
See how many we can get away with today, just to be totally obnoxious.
Okay, so maybe a couple things you mentioned there are super interesting. One is as a learning tool, because I guess it's good for time.
Yeah.
But then also experimentation.
Right.
Both of those things. Could you maybe set something up and talk us through it?
So like for example, what if I want to like think about, okay, to answer your first question, practicing. Well, first of all, what's really good practice for your time is just simply doing a loop. You know, so here, I'll just do something, and this is funny. Anytime I play these chords, I like to hold my guitar down by the side because it makes me feel more like Prince or something. And so if I'm doing like just, you know, these like minor 6 chords, and now I've been doing this a long time. It takes a second to kind of learn how the pedal reacts.
Yeah,
Like, there
right.
is a slight learning curve to some of these. I mean, but these things are like, this one at least is very accurate. So if you're just doing that right there with no metronome, that's time practice, right? So the other thing I could do, I'll do that same thing. And now I'll turn it down while we're talking. But now I guess I've got this static kind of thing happening. Maybe I want to practice seeing how just different bass notes feel over that 2-note chord, you know. So I won't even loop anything. But I'll think, all right, let's see. Like some of these sound like not great, right? Technically just, I'm in B minor, but maybe you wanted like... So now this is just like silly ear training, right?
Yeah.
Because if I were to stop the loop and play these voicings with all these different chords, it just to kind of... Now you could do this like this, but it's more fun to do it in time, kind of come up with like a little bass line. So it's just like really basic composing. I mean, this is super simple. I'm not even really changing chords. But say I wanted to actually come up with something, maybe I'll think rhythmically. Okay, so we've got our... Let's see, how do we make it go again? Oh, there we go. So there's our downbeat, right? So, what if I want to practice putting something like 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4 yen, 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen. So now I just displace the 16th note by 1 16th note, right? Now we have this funny little groove. What if I want to... Here, I'll stop it while I talk.
Yeah.
What if... Okay, so now I have this groove. I have this beat in my head. There's no drums, obviously. But what if I want to think... So we've got a bass line. We've got chords. What else would you add to this if you guys were... What else? It doesn't need anything, but for the sake of adding some stuff.
even before you get into playing anything tricky, I'd maybe want something that sustained a little bit.
Got it.
Maybe.
Okay, cool. Let's do this. So harmonically, we have this minor 6 chord. We could just take it up an octave, right? So now it's like a 7 sus 4. So now we've got that going on. Let's see, we've done something in the low register, we've done something in the middle register, we've done something in the high register. We don't really have anything. Let's do something back in the middle register, but let's not play chords. Okay,
Yep.
So now what we're practicing is just arranging. Let's see if this sounds good. All right. I'll do what I call like a guitar hook. So that little guy is, you could think of that as like a horn part.
Yeah,
Bap,
yeah.
bap, 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 right? And I laid back the beat a little bit just to, you know, give it a little more sauce. But this is really like an arranging tool for me, especially if I'm thinking about really minute, compartmentalized little pieces of groove, which is kind of the way I approach, you know, sometimes like studio work for people.
Yeah.
If I'm just focusing on a chorus, you know, it's got like 4 chords or something, and I need to come up with 2 or 3 parts that work really well together. I don't sit there and practice with a looper and then do it, but like this kind of stuff, just on your own in your own time, will translate into
Helps you
you know,
get
kind
that.
of proper application.
Do you ever use it in a performance environment?
I don't.
No.
Yeah, not really. If you come see my trio, we play enough notes for, you know. So I don't think if I need it, but
Okay, moving on to your board. Now, this is your fly board.
Do you want some background music?
Yeah, please.
Just kidding. I'm not going to
So-
do that.
The thing is, there's just something about your time that is.
It's unreal, isn't it?
It's all on the looper. It's synced to MIDI. None of this is real.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So my question about your board,
Probably a lot of questions.
your tapping.
Genuine chopping board.
Yeah, did you look at the
Oh
underside of it?
man!
It's an acrylic or whatever they make it. They make them out of.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that
pedals
before.
up top, sushi down the bottom.
Very good.
Right.
Very good. When you're touring as you are in the moment, doing your trio thing,
Correct.
and you're over here doing a bunch of dates, and then to Europe, or
Yeah. On a Friday, I think we head over to Rotterdam.
right.
Right.
Now this fits in your computer bag. You carry it on the plane. The tones that you use in your recordings, and the music is so diverse. How do you choose what to put on, for the necessities?
Right. Right. Well, I think if you go and listen to now, Snarky Puppy is one thing because I think there might be more sort of far out tones in that band just because there's two other guitar players that are playing parts. So
How many people are in Snarky Puppy?
well, technically there's 17, I think. There's almost 3 guys on every instrument, almost.
Man.
Almost.
Rider.
And so yeah, it's a sports team. It's like a baseball team, It's like relief pitchers and someone else. Or in football, I guess you have substitutions.
Okay.
Nice, well done.
Yeah. Anyway, so for I guess to answer your first question, this is pretty much what I need to play all the tunes in my solo catalog.
Right.
Save for a few there's a couple tunes I have where I have some kind of odd guitar synth sounds, and live I just won't do that.
Right.
I'll just use a different sound. Because like I said, we play as a trio, so there's a lot of stuff that's not technically there anyway. There's some rhythm guitar overdubs and things like that, or keyboards or whatever that you're not going to hear. So I try to kind of condense everything to the essence of let's just play some guitar, And of course, there's you can still do a lot of damage with what's on this board, of course. Sure. When I go out with the pups, I might swap a couple things in and out. I have one of those Line 6 M5s.
Okay.
Where I can just call it different delays and different, that's where some of the guitar synth stuff comes from.
Sure.
But it's generally this, which is essentially, there's an octave pedal at the front, there's an octave fuzz. The Monterey is cool because it does a bunch of things.
Right.
So that's nice to have. My signature drive, the Dude drive.
How did that come about?
The SIG drive? So I've been working with J Rockett for years. They were based out of Texas for a long time, and they were one of the first companies that I just kind of met through a really good mutual friend, and just really got into their pedals early on. I was using some stuff and was kind of happy with it, and then I got hooked up with them, and I was like, dang, this is the sound. I hear this in my head already, So we've been friends forever, and finally they were like, hey man, I think we let's do a pedal with your name on it. We have this graphic EQ thing that we're doing. Would you be interested in checking that out? And I was like, yeah, of course. So this is version 2.0,
right?
3.0, 2.5.0 of what it basically. They didn't do a whole lot after the first one. I think they just increased the gain and a little bit of extra volume to get it to where I wanted it. So there actually is a lower gain version of that floating around, which has a slightly bit of a cleaner, almost like a clean boost kind of sound, which I don't know, maybe we'll put that one out.
Yeah. No, the reason
this is the one we decided to go with, yeah.
So anyone that hasn't seen this, this is Mark's signature pedal, and it's a overdrive pedal, but instead of a tone control, you've got active graphic EQ on there.
Yeah.
Now, is it before or after the gain stage?
I think it's oh gosh, I don't even remember. It's one of those two things.
Okay, it's one of those two things.
Sorry,
I'm not a tech guy. In full disclosure, I know probably some guys are watching this going, he doesn't even know what his own pedal does. most of us don't. Okay, like let's just I don't know a capacitor from a thingamajigger from a who's it. Okay, so the deal is, you can go on their website and it'll tell you if it's before or after. Okay, I think it's probably before, but it might be after. Anyway, it sounds really great, and everyone should own one.
Let's have a listen to it, can we?
So this is, and I actually tweaked it a little bit to, whoa, if I don't fall off my stool. Nice and chewy and kind of chunky, and it cleans up real cool. So it's got a little bit of kind of built-in compression, a little bit of sag, which I think is really cool, and it does great with any pickup. So, man, it works for me, man. You know.
That's quite girthy, that pickup. What is that?
It's one of Don Grosh's pickups. It's a small block 327. Yeah, so that was a thing for me. It was like, you know, it's got a 6-band EQ, so you can kind of just EQ it to whatever your guitar amp situation is. So I put a little bit of extra lows in and a little bit of high mids. I think it's low to high. But again, if you go to the website, it'll tell you exactly what K each one is, 1000K or 52K or 24 karat, whatever. So I'm sure the guys at J-Rocket are like, this dude is the worst on planet Earth.
If they watch that pedal show, they're well used to rubbish descriptions of pedals.
Was that rubbish? I didn't think it was terrible.
No. I'm well known for getting things very wrong. So we're in the same.
Okay.
We're in the same gang. We have one too. I thought it might have the numbers written on it, but it doesn't.
Nah, we decided to keep the numbers off.
Nice.
Cool.
Thanks.
How do you when you're using the Dude, how would you use the Dude and the melody drive? What would?
Well, okay, so we heard the melody, and then the Dude, if you're familiar with it, is sort of like a. I guess they're supposed to be voiced about a Dumble Overdrive special, which is one of those things I've never even seen a Dumble.
No,
normal guys have never come across these mythical beasts.
They exist on Instagram for $100,000.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah, I have not had the pleasure of even seeing one, let alone playing through one. But they tell me that this is, you know. So that's my sound for, like, you know, that. So that would be like my lead tone with the band, like
nice.
Really ripping it or attempting to rip it. So and that was the other thing about them. First of all, about Rockett pedals in general is that they all work really well together.
Right.
And I've always been like a pedal stacking guy, just what I do. And so having the melody with the EQ, you can really like alter the sound of whatever is behind it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And they just work good together, man. You know? So that's it. It's kind of like medium to low gain and then high gain.
That's
and then
great.
I put them together for more gain than you would.
And you were telling me earlier that the red knob one is different from the one before because they've changed the taper of the volume.
This one has a slightly more friendly volume taper.
Yeah. Because it's stupid loud by the time
it's
you
a
get
loud
to
pedal.
9 a.m. Yeah.
And they're small, you know. And it's cool is the jacks are on the tops. You can put them even closer. I can't because I have this little power guy in here. But you could if you didn't have that underneath, you could stick them both together.
So the only modulation that you have on your board is the phaser.
Right.
Well, apart from the Monterey.
Yeah, the Monterey. So the Monterey. I started kind of getting into like chorus and vibrato again. Apparently the 80s are coming back. So I use the Monterey right now for a little bit of. I think it's actually set to a rotary sound, but I can get a pretty good chorus sound out of it. And then I usually always like to have a phaser, man. It's great for the funk stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know, I don't really do like the Eddie Van Halen like slow phase. I mean, you know.
How would you use the
mileage
phaser?
May vary, but probably like this. I mean, just what we've been doing for the last 20 minutes. I love this pedal, man.
So good.
So it's like, this is super chewy and this is chewy, so it's like double the chew. It's like ultimate granola.
We had this on the show, Mick.
What is it?
This is the MXR Phase 95. It's got the Phase 45
Oh, okay.
and the Phase 90 in it with little.
Yeah, I think
flip
this is
buttons.
set to 90, so here's... Oops. The guys at MXR.
Yeah, right.
The coolest human beings, even though they're probably rolling their eyes at me right now. But so I've had a
Give George a honk.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I have the EVH Phase 90 on my other board.
Right.
But this one's really cool, because now we've just discovered the beauty of this univibey sound. Yeah, that's killing, man. I'm gonna leave it just like that.
Okay, so in which case then, how do you say the Monterey set up with a...
Yeah, go ahead and
rotary
just
at the moment?
hit the mod side. So this should be So I can do my fake Charlie Hunter impersonation, you know? Yeah, so that's a fun set, and this one actually has a univibe in it too.
Where am I going?
Switch. There's a switch in the middle that says.
Yeah.
So that's should be pretty fat. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, you can add an octave in here. It does this kind of cool envelope filter. As you can operate it as a normal or whatever, or you can just, and it kind of has a little bit of both. Yeah. And then the other side is just a fuzz. Which by itself is like pretty gnarly. That's pretty mellow today, I guess. Sometimes what I'll do is like take this guy and that guy. Whatever you want to call that. So together they're cool. Yeah, man, you can get a lot done and chop vegetables on the opposite side with this thing.
But a separate...
There's that. Yeah, that's an octave fuzz.
Yeah.
So turn that on. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's cool.
Who's that by? Pigtronix.
Pigtronix, the Octava. Yeah. Sometimes, you can play power chords with not normal chords.
And then the other end.
Oh yeah, that. So that's the new MXR Vintage Bass Octave, which you'll hear that a lot probably at the trio show. I think we'll get into some stuff, but yeah, oh wait. That's a fun pedal. And
alive.
so depending on how many, I don't know, if you play it through like a 212 cabinet or a 412 cabinet, it's like a little, it can be a little much.
Right.
Especially if you have a closed back cabinet, you got to be really careful. But for this little guy,
So every one of those parts that you just played was with
Was that on?
was with a
oh yeah, I guess it was.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, turning the what is this one? Tone. It's been a long flight, guys. Which camera am I looking at?
Mark
That
has
one.
just got off a plane from Dallas, so, and given that we're in England, that's quite a long way.
It is a different part of the world.
Yes.
But yeah, so I was messing with the tone knob, but and those are really well. Obviously, they're great on bass, of course, too. But yeah, so I throw that one in the front, and then where did we get to before we stopped? Oh, there was the volume pedal.
I have a quick question about that last
sure.
loop. So you play the rhythm part absolutely bang on, metronomically, but yet with groove that I can't quite explain. And then up here you played a part which you deliberately hung back on, which gave it swing.
Oh, yeah.
How
I
do
guess
you
I
do
did.
that? Because I know
Man.
most guitar players I know can usually do the metronomic thing or the swing thing, but doing them both is...
Well, it's I have to say, with that regard, I think it's a bit of a product of environment.
Right.
Playing where I play in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, that's just kind of part of the thing. And the drummers there, the bass players there, the guitar players, the keyboard, everyone there who's in kind of like an R&B, soul, gospel, jazz, funk, groove music kind of realm has that sort of language. And so I didn't really play. I mean, I had good time. I've had good time, just sort of just from
Naturally.
playing, I guess, decent. I shouldn't say it was good, but good enough. But when I started hanging with some of these guys that are just really masters of that stuff, you just absorb it. I mean, that wasn't something that I ever practiced to a metronome or anything like that. That's just something that I'm very thankful that I was able to pick up just from experience.
And that's purely from playing with other people.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I mean, that's the best time practice you could ever have, is just playing with other people and making it feel good as a group.
Is it the same with your sense of swing? Because I noticed, like, the first loop that you set up, and the swing groove is just, it's so awesome. But it's like, if that doesn't come naturally to you, it's the hardest thing to
and
learn.
I'm still working on it. Like it's it's just practice anything, man. But again, I think if you're playing with people who play like that,
Right.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and if
sure.
you're listening to music that has that too,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. But that's what's so funny, man. About maybe this is a bit of a sermon I'm about to start here, but
let's do it.
okay. It's great, that we are able to share so much on the internet and stuff, but it's like people don't play with people anymore.
Yeah.
They're just playing by themselves,
yeah.
which is, cool. But like, if you want to learn how to swing and stuff, like go find the people that swing,
That's so
and go
true.
just forget filming yourself on Instagram, Mark,
Yeah.
and go shed with those guys, Mark.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's good advice, people. Take it.
Man.
I'm
I
speaking to
thought I'd
myself
stumbled into
here.
a D'Angelo record there when you were just like,
I ain't
right back on everything.
they
It's
ain't
like-
gonna call me for that gig, man.
And I'm probably pregnant as well by now. But
Oh, that's weird. Science. Progress.
it was that funky.
Oh man.
Let's keep talking about pedals. This is
Yeah. So from pregnancy to what kind
Delays.
of- yeah, delays.
2 delays on the board. Did they have specific jobs?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
See you next week.
Yeah, they do. Okay, cool. So, yeah, they're totally different types of deal. So I'll start with this one. So the Flashback is really neat because it does a lot of things, which is nice because occasionally, like, I have a tune on an upcoming record that has kind of this... It actually uses another TC Electronics pedal, but I can't fit them all on the board. It has this kind of upper octave. So I have that option. I leave it either between tape, analog, or 2290. Because what I like about the 2290 is it's the 2290, right? Probably more repeats than I would actually need. So let's see. So what you can do is have that kind of bright 2290 guy happening, and then like a longer. So by itself. This guy's got tap too, which is important for me. So that's the Echoplex sound, like, which is awesome. That's.
Talking to George Trips about that pedal and how much work went in to nailing
hear
that
it.
Echoplex sound. It's amazing.
I mean, like here, this is like a big delay sound, like this kind of ambient thing is what I'll do for like a lot of delay, and I do this on the Snarky gig too. And you'll hear them, a lot. A short delay and a long delay. Warm, and then one's warm and one's bright. So
Lovely.
Yeah.
We did touch on the volume pedal just briefly.
You just touched on it again.
Yeah,
sir.
shall I do it again? There you go. Is it a swells thing or is it to regulate?
Swells, and just if I don't know a part, then I just.
How many people have done that? You're playing, you don't know what you're doing, you turn the guitar off, and you just.
When in doubt, lay out.
But pretend like you're not, right?
Yeah. Or it's that you look confused, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Wait for the part to come back, and it's like, oh, okay.
Shake your fist at the bass player.
Yeah, this is really mostly for swells, which happens every now and then. And but yeah, so those are the two delay pedals. I just put this back in. I don't know why I wasn't using it. It sounds so good.
Sounds great. Sounds so good.
Yeah. Where are we at?
Reverb, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is the Hall of Fame. I've been a big user of these for a while. And I have it set on the plate setting for now. Wait a minute. All the way. There we go. Okay. Which is, yeah. That's it. Sounds great. Doesn't get in the way, and like, like a lot of these pedals, like they have options.
Sure.
Like that was the big thing for me with putting this together, putting this board together, was that like it was cool if some of these pedals could do a ton of different things, because
right.
It kind of does the work of multiple pedals. I have a tone print with them, which is this, which is really ambient. Yeah, so. It's a nice sounding pedal, man. And
you keep doing that?
It's just.
Well, I was going to show you what else it does. So let's see. Oh yeah, as Tor formerly from TC.
Nice catch.
Do it. Okay, so weird. He was like, "It sounds like you're playing in James Brown's bathroom."
Pretty good.
Because I think when we came up with the tone print, I was like, "Well, what else can it do?" He's like, "Well, how about this?" And so we found out that it'll do this kind of neat tile kind of thing. So there's that, but then if you really want to, like, if you put everything at noon, it's like a whale noises. That's all one reverb patch.
Wow.
Yeah, so again, I wanted some cool flexibility, so that's it, man. And then we talked about the Ditto.
Everything you need. Guitars. This is a guitar that 58,000 trillion billion people have seen on.
Is that the exact number? 58,000 trillion billions and billions and billions.
I got some awesome planetary numbers correct last week, didn't I?
You did. Oh man.
How long it takes to get to the next galaxy?
Oh man.
I said 3 million years. It's actually 327 light years.
Which is
billion light years.
Right. That's far.
Yeah.
That's like Dallas to London, but farther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the space lag?
Yeah. So
the amount of coffee you need after that trip.
So we're all about correct numbers here. So 58,000 billion people have seen this guitar on the social networks.
I hope 58,000 billion people see it live in person one day too. It'd be cool.
That would be nice.
Sounds better at a show. Come to my gigs.
Go to his gigs. Are you touring soon, Mark, by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Ah, where would the tour be taking
we're touring
you?
the trio. The Mark Lettieri trio is touring right now. We're going to play in London tomorrow at the Jazz Cafe.
We can't get out before then, so we will do a social media post.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Today.
We're doing the UK, Holland, Spain, Switzerland, and Italy on this run, and then I think I have a lot of dates between the trio and Snarky Puppy for the rest of the year. So we can.
We will put your website address in the description below.
Perfect.
So Don Grosh then.
Yeah, man.
Where's he from?
He is in Colorado, outside of Denver, and very small operation. Couple folks up there. They do it all, man. He's just a guru, you know. And it's kind of interesting. I ordered this guitar a couple of years back in 2014, I think. I had a friend that was playing one, and I just was like, wow, that's really nice. That's a really awesome guitar. And I at the time, you know, I was looking for something beyond a Fender, you know, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna order a Grosh. Like that, you know, I think I played like one or two in a guitar shop. I was like, yeah, we can do this. And so you fill out the form and and you know, have a phone call or two with Don, and then in 3 months this amazing guitar comes in the mail.
So what constitutes beyond? What did you need that was different, or what did you want that was different?
This neck is a little bit bigger than a standard Fender, which is something my hands were starting to gravitate towards. And it's just it's a true custom shop instrument.
Yep.
You know, down to the fret wire, down to all the things, you know. And these 1088 bridges are really cool. I don't know, I just love these bridges with the two posts. Is it
the whole thing floating?
Yeah, barely. I mean, I can just about get a guitar pick under it.
But the front plate is on the guitar?
Yeah.
Touching the guitar?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yes. I don't know.
Under there. Is that touching the guitar at the front?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The fulcrum. What do they call it?
Yeah.
And then these are the Grosh pickups, 60s Fats, single coils he calls them, and a small block 327. There's a slight heel contour in the back.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so you can get a little bit more action.
It's ash body, is it?
Swamp ash body, one piece. The guitar's super light. The finish is awesome. I love that you can see like the wood grain through it. This guitar was a lot bluer when I got it. Now it's sort of like got a green hue because some of the wood's it's well loved. What else? Locking tuners, which are great. It's one of those things. It's like an old pair of jeans.
Right.
You know, you're just like, yep.
It felt like that. What?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think I set this guitar up for like over a year.
Wow.
A year, maybe even 2 years was before I actually took it to a guy just to probably get the frets polished. I don't even think I've had to do anything to the neck ever. It's just stayed in one place, which I've never played a guitar that does that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been on every Mark Lettieri oriented project I've done since I got it, you know.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have any baritones here, because you're also very well known for your baritone playing.
The album Deep, which is
thanks, man,
just spectacular.
Thank you.
Yeah. So quickly about the baritones.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, it was kind of by accident, in a sense. I had used baritones for studio sessions. We'd used them in Snarky Puppy. Stylistically, it was more ambient or just like rock and roll, like indie rock and roll kind of thing. But I'm always trying to groove things at home, and so one day I just was like, I'm gonna just. It was literally one of those things where I think maybe I had been, it was rewind 20 minutes ago when I was joking about social media. I was considering making a social media video that afternoon, and I was like, I think I'm gonna do something funky, but man, I haven't seen anyone play baritone guitar today, so maybe I'll do that, and that was like kind of the thing, you know.
Way.
And then I put together a little tune for Snarky Puppy with a baritone that was kind of a funk kind of number. And then it just sort of built into something through social media, because people were like, "What is this? What is he doing? Most people were like, "What kind of guitar is that?"
Sure, yeah.
Which I totally understand, because you don't even really see baritones much, let alone some guy trying to play like Prince grooves on, some idiot trying to play Prince grooves on a baritone. but it just felt super comfortable for me, and I was like, this might be a thing I want to pursue. And so I started doing these little videos online, and enough people were like, when's the record coming out?
Yeah,
I was like, I haven't thought about it. And so I took the 7, well, I think it was like 5 of my favorite of the videos that I thought had the most potential to be real songs. And then just kind of rearranged them, added some more parts, did it all at my home studio. Spent a day in the studio with my drummer, Jason Thomas. He did all the drums, and then I sent out the stems to the guys to do keyboards and horns and things like that, and that was it.
Wow.
So it happened pretty fast. Yeah, which is
Wow.
nice because now it means I can do another one.
Yeah, right.
Now that I know I can do it that quickly. The problem is I still haven't figured out how to play all live yet.
Okay.
So that's the next agenda, is how to get that across, you know.
Great sounding album.
Do you use
Thank you.
both A tuned and B tuned?
Yeah, but not on the same tunes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, heck, you could. Yeah, one of them, the last track on the record is actually in drop G.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the really super slow, laid back. It's called Architeuthis, which is a giant squid. I had the idea for I was like, I'm gonna call it deep because baritones are deep, and then I had the idea for to have the big scary deep sea fish, and then I'm like, now I'm gonna give them all names from deep sea. So I was on Wikipedia a lot, and the challenge I gave myself was like, I'm not gonna have any names with the word fish in it. I was very meticulous about this.
It's important to know
So
what drives
if
artists
I
these
do
days.
Deep Volume 2, which I plan on doing, all y'all at National Geographic are going to have to discover some new species for me to name these tunes after, because I don't want to use the word fish in any of the... Well, I'll get real good at Latin, probably.
Well, listen, our intern's coming through with coffee any second. Thank you so much
Oh, my
for your time
pleasure.
today, mate. I
Thank
know
you, guys.
You've literally just jumped off the plane, and
It's all good.
so really appreciate you coming out. Just want to say quickly a massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon, also to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe,
Anderson's Music of Guildford in Surrey.
in the US of A,
Would be Riff City Guitar of various locations.
and in Australia.
Would be Pedal Empire of Brisbane, Queensland.
And also massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed
Mark Lettieri signature
Sweatbands.
fish guide, which is out,
We have those?
out this week.
Sweet.
T-shirts and stickers and picks and strings. So thank
all
you to
that
everyone that's done that. Awesome. So is our coffee ready? Hey.
I'm really sorry, Mick. I couldn't. No, that's mine. Don't touch it. I couldn't get the machine to work. I know you showed me how to work it a whole bunch of times, but I couldn't remember if it was the 2 buttons first and then the big cup, or then the 2 buttons and then the little cup. This is pretty good.
You're just
So-
going to send
You have to,
just
you've
gonna
got
have
to do
to
it
play for your
yourself.
supper, I think.
Yep.
no pay
Don't
for you this week.
don't quit your day job,
Yeah.
man.
I might get fired.
It's an unpaid internship.
That's right.
Wait, is it? I don't know.
Bye.